Hello, Mech fans. This is Duncan Fisher. Hold on firmly to your mana potions, fireballs, and familiars, because you are tuning in to your regularly scheduled episode of the First Circuit Podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the First Circuit Podcast, episode 117,000. So, for today's episode, we have Old Bob 10025.
10025, hello.
And we got a Biter.
75, hello.
Thank you. Oh, there are numbers. And
Yes,
Ian.
yeah.
I don't have any numbers, but hi.
Numbers. And myself, Lars, the casual Mechwarrior. Okay, so for today's topics, we have some things in Mechwarrior Online, which deal with the quarantine event, Dropship Deals, a free hero and MechBay, and some quick updates on Mechwarrior 5, be it for the Nvidia update and the patch notes. And then we're going to go right into some quick things about the current events going across the globe. So, all right, guys, where do you want to go to first?
Let's do it in order with the quarantine event.
Quarantine event.
Quarantine
Quarantine
event.
event.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but I still have your word in my head, Lars.
All right. So for those of you who we usually do like more than because we always kind of like F up on the first couple, we're just laughing at a prior incident from the other intro we did earlier. So just ignore that. So the quarantine event, you can get a free hero mech, which is the Wolverine Quarantine, and a free mech bay plus 14 days of active premium time. Mostly because of the COVID-19 going around, since we're all mostly at this point in quarantine. So I really like the theme of getting a quarantine mech. Just happened to have that already in the game.
Do you think actually
Yeah.
Matt actually made this one up? You know, Matt Newman?
I don't know who made it up. I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. It fits so well. So well.
It's an amazing idea. It's something that most companies do for good reason because it's really nice and it boosts player numbers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
go ahead and grab your free quarantine hero mech and 14 days of active premium time.
Yeah. So if you have not gotten it, go ahead and get it.
I'm just gonna say I have 4 backup accounts in case I find someone who wants to try out Mechwarrior Online, so I can give them an account that already has some mechs on it. And those accounts now have 5 mechs, 5 hero mechs, which is
There you go.
kinda nice. Now I just need to find people to use them.
Yeah, if you want free mechs, go ahead. All right, so yeah, so I mean, pretty quick, and then of course there is the dropship deals, which I haven't even looked at this just yet, but you're getting some. Oh boy, this is one of those things where you can like pick and choose. Oh yeah, it's a pick and choose thing.
Yeah, it's the old dropship deal this time with I think all of the hero mechs.
Mm-hmm.
I think
Correct me
so,
if I'm
yeah.
wrong. I think it's all the hero mechs. It's separated into the weight classes and then IS and clan, which
Maybe
not
it
my
could-
preference.
yeah.
I would have just done weight classes so you can combine them. But still, if you want for hero mechs, it's not a bad deal.
Well, that's a good way for the people to go spend, or for them, for the company to say, hey, yeah, we got this dropship deal, but if you're a clan guy but want some inner sphere mechs, you got to spend X amount of dollars to go get them. So, you know, basically, I'm with you that the mechs aren't kind of intertwined by weight classes. They're intertwined by clan and then inner sphere. So, you know, it's there, I guess. it's a thing.
I guess
there.
I would have preferred that the IS package would have been slightly cheaper then, because on average IS hero mechs are slightly cheaper. But
Yeah.
as always, take a look at the selection that's offered. If you find 4 mechs you like, it's really solid value. But if you find only 2 mechs or so, then go the old school route.
Yeah.
Because like looking at it though, like I mean, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You got 10 clan mechs for the mediums, and then a bunch of like inner sphere mechs. So it's like, I mean, there's more. If they would have put it together, I think they would have sold more packages instead of actually separate things.
It
'Cause-
used to be,
yeah.
just by weight class,
Yeah.
rather than also split by the faction. So yeah, this way is not as good way to do things around.
Mhm.
Because yeah, as you mentioned, clan will have a lot less heroes and a lot of weight categories, and there's also sometimes there's a lot of overlap. If you like clan mechs, you might already have most, except you might be just missing 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Which was in the past at least you could pick up those 2 remaining clan heroes you didn't get into IS heroes, but now you're stuck just getting duplicates if you're wanting to finish off your collection.
Yeah.
It's just kind of
All
weird.
right.
That's all.
Yeah, I kind of wish they would have kept it the old way, but I guess gotta make that money.
True.
I mean, all right.
Very
So the
true.
quarantine
Okay.
event, yeah, that was kind of already with that with the drop shit. Pretty much the last thing really is the Nvidia patch that we really had. Or no, I see
Well,
that Ian has a thing over there. Yeah, quarantine.
just quarantine. There isn't an event with the
Oh yeah,
quarantine,
right. It's a
Mhm.
weekend.
which is your usual sort of do this and that and the other. So like kills or KMDDs in the quarantine hero, or get kills KMDDs and light mechs, etc., etc. MC. I do like though that they're actually rewarding people for using the new mech. You need to
Yeah.
earn a victory and do stuff, and you'll
Mm-hmm.
get a bolt on for it and a pattern for it. So that's nice.
Yeah.
And I'll leave links
There-
down below, guys, too.
There are a couple minor things that bug me about this event, as with every event. For example, you don't have a medium mech challenge. You have to use the quarantine for the medium class. There's a shoot down a UAV event. Okay. And there's one objective that's earn 500 match score, which 500 is a fairly big number for most people, and it only gives a McBay, so I would have preferred something more in there. But beyond that, it's just a very regular event. Play the game, you're gonna get most of it passively.
Yeah.
And at least incidentally, people will have premium time at the beginning of the event to start with, rather than earning it at the end, like a lot of the events, because obviously they gave away premium time with the hero.
True. True. Although the match score, yeah, that's I know for some people it's really easy, but sometimes you just get kind of pissed off when you get 495 or 499.
Well, the match score thing sometimes means you got a fair number of people learning, because that's the only way they know how to get that kind of match score, which results in very lopsided games where the learners either get run over or they get their time to slowly shower death on the people who just don't know how to get into cover.
Yeah, that's definitely the experience I've had today. Also interesting, if LERM's up, then there's always ECM is up, AMS is up, so it was an interesting time playing this weekend for this event.
Yeah, I played
Yeah.
about 6 or 7 matches just to kind of, once I get the quarantine, I'm like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good mech actually. What 1 ballistic, 1 or 3 energy on the arm, and then 2 missile on the right torso. So everything's one side. So you just kind of use the left side as a shield. Not bad. It's not a bad mech. It's kind of nice actually.
Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
fun with it.
It has the same issues with like the Griffin and whatnot, though, where if you put a lot of tonnage into energy and ballistic in the arms, into your one shooty arm, people often will shoot it off, even with its survival quirks. That arm will fall off quite quickly.
Yeah.
I bought the Mech a while ago, and I was experimenting with an AC2 medium laser SRM build, one of my biter bracket builds. AC2 for long range harass, and then mediums and SRMs for close range punch. And the thing was, people got so annoyed by just the AC2 that they kept shooting the arm off. The AC2 wasn't the biggest source of damage. I was just really sad losing the medium lasers. But it's amazing what a little 6-ton weapon will do. How quickly they'll make people want to focus it down, because they're used to, if they're getting dackered, like they're thinking it's Rax or it's an AC2 bow.
Yeah, from that distance.
But yeah, really, all it is a tickle gun, and it got really annoying. People blowing off my tickle gun.
Okay.
So yeah, if you want a free mech, I guess it's doable as a starter mech, and it's completely free. Go ahead and pick up the free quarantine. I've seen a lot of MRM builds for it, which I think
I've seen a
are
lot of
probably the recommendable route.
Yeah, I went in the end. I think just 3 medium pulse and like streak 12 with a large XL engine and jump jets.
That's a fighter build.
Yes,
streaks.
turn it into a hit and run mech. Kind of low firepower, but you just tear isolated enemies to pieces.
True.
Yeah, it's good.
Not bad mech. So it's this Nvidia thing. 2.0 for a Mechwarrior 5.
All right, so DL.SS is one of the new features that came with the RTX 20,000 series with the new Nvidia graphic cards. And well, we've talked about ray tracing in the past, and DL.SS is one of the accompanying features that's basically a sharpening filter for the most part. It makes things look sharper. That's the really easy way to explain it. And it takes less resources than thing like anti-aliasing stuff we've had in the past. So it's fairly easy to run if you have a RTX graphics card. To be completely honest, I've tried it Mechwarrior 5. I haven't really noticed a difference. So it's there, I guess. If you can tell the difference, cool. Most people don't even have 2000 series graphics cards anyway, so yeah, it's a feature that exists.
I mean, just looking at the webpage, they got the two different like versions. I mean, you could tell, but it's kind of like the thing that you gotta, how much are those cards? You gotta get like how much are they?
They're not even that expensive anymore, especially the super variants of the new cards. But also you need to remember they're kind of at the end of their cycle right now. They're about to get the next generation of Nvidia graphics cards. So I don't think that I would recommend picking one up right now. I would probably wait until they're out on the used market once people get the next generation, and then pick up a 2070 Super or something like that for fairly cheap.
Okay.
Right now it's better to pick up one of the 10 series cards because they're comparable in pure power. They just lack some of the new features. And honestly, I wouldn't spend the extra money just yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you could tell on the site just a little bit, but like overall though, like when I'm playing the game, it's like I really pay attention too much on that kind of stuff. Like as far as the graphic wise, I'm just like like I go for content than like anything else, because like hell, like I grew up with Ultima Online and that has like no graphics, but it has a lot of content type thing. So I don't know. That's just me though.
Even if you want to pay attention, given the shooting gallery style of Mechwarrior 5, you're gonna be hard pressed to find time to look at the pretty graphics.
True.
There's too many explosions in your face to really notice, but the explosions are slightly more crisp.
True.
There you go.
I guess so.
Oh god. So okay, that was the DL5 thingy bobby. Next,
DL.SS 2.0.
yes, 2.0
And
for Mechwarrior 5.
accompanying there was
Patch
a
notes.
patch for Mechwarrior 5, which has basically been a mod editor update more than a game update, because the mod editor now has the option to export your mods in a format that the game can actually make sense of. So you can now export your mods. There's a in-game menu where you can activate and deactivate your mods for Mechwarrior 5, and people creating mods have a slightly easier time. The editor is still not where it needs to be, but it's slowly getting there. So yeah, patch notes, mostly just mod editor stuff.
I think we'll go in more detail later on about the mods too, as well.
Yeah. The only thing I sort of have to say is that I don't recall them really doing many big patches that really address the balance of the game. It's been out for a while, and it doesn't feel like they've really done much to actually address the issues of the shooting gallery. I think there was a patch that I think it might be this one, that the AI will stomp through the buildings you're trying to destroy less often now.
Yeah.
That's probably about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just if you recall, whenever like BattleTech or whatnot had a patch, there was a slew of gameplay changes and additions to the game every single time. Whereas this, it seems whatever the team they have for Mechwarrior 5, they are all just working on the mod editor, at least for now. Mod editor and probably future DLC would be my guess.
Yeah, they're probably working on the DLC. I mean, it's supposed to be out in it's supposed to be out next month.
What, a DLC?
We're already at the end of March. Yeah, it's supposed to be out in April, the first DLC.
What's it about?
Yes. We don't know.
Oh, I haven't been paying attention. Oh, okay.
We only know that it's gonna feature a career mode, exactly. The thing that BattleTech is offered for free. But that's not
so it's like BattleTech Lite? It's like BattleTech Lite then?
BattleTech Lite.
It's BattleTech, but the free features you have to pay for.
Okay.
Weird. Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna see what that thing is about next month. And yeah, you're right, Bida. They haven't really done anything balance-wise, except for the first couple patches where they addressed the big issues. So
yeah,
maybe they're fine with the way the game is balanced. Who knows?
Yeah, it just what I would much more like to see is obviously them going back into the game and retouching it, trying to make it more fun. And instead, yeah, all we've got is quality of life improvements. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. Maybe there'll be a whole bunch of stuff coming with the first DLC. But it is PGI, and particularly with the current events going on, don't necessarily expect them to take on a whole bunch of extra people to really, put a lot of spice into this game right now.
Yeah.
I guess the one good thing about something like a game company is remote working is very easy to do. And as far as I've been able to tell from their personal Twitter accounts, most of the people working at PGI have been remote anyway. So
Yeah, so it's worked out. Yeah.
it shouldn't be too impacted. So I wouldn't expect major delays.
Well, like every game,
Yeah.
every game
Fingers
company is
crossed.
like that right now too. Like I know Bethesda with the new patch for the people for the NPCs that should have been out a long time ago. They're actually postponing it like I think 3 weeks because of the virus.
Bob, there's a cat behind you.
I know.
I love
That's
cats.
that's Jordan.
Yeah.
That's Jordan there.
Is it named after the wise man?
No, actually not named after Wiseman. Just that's my favorite cat though. It's my buddy. That's Jordan there.
Aw.
My buddy. Okay, sorry.
But you're not supposed to be biased towards your children.
Yes.
Well, I love them all. I love them all, but that one is
But the
just
cat
that
might be
one-
biased to him.
Yeah, the cat loves me more than all the other cats do because the cat jumps on me. So you look at the cat wants to jump on your shoulder, so it's fine. It's good. Okay.
All right, but I think that about does it for BattleTech related stories for this
Yeah.
week.
Wow. Okay.
Not a whole lot. So,
As usual, yeah.
yeah. So speaking of quarantine mechs, how's everyone doing out there? Doing
Doing
good.
fine.
Doing
Yeah.
fine.
Doing okay. Okay, that was
Yeah.
episode 117.
That was it.
Personally, just give I guess updates per se.
Mhm.
What I've done and what I've seen and what I've had to go through and all that kind of stuff. I was feeling like crap, and so I went to the hospital to the drive-through ER that they set up. They're all decked out in their gear and like all the kind of stuff, and I have much respect for those people that actually are on the front lines like that. And went in and I said I'm not feeling good. Can I get tested? They're well, we don't have enough tests, but we're gonna test you for the flu. I'm like, well, I had flu-like symptoms. I was shortness of breath and just feeling queasy, and fever was up there. It was like 99. So went in and they took a nose swab, like stuck a swab up my nose, and then I waited at the parking lot for an hour, and then they came out, so come back to the ER and said, well, a doctor came out, which is very I guess interesting. She came out saying, hey, well, we can't test you unless you're, this is my own like interpretation. Your eyes are bleeding and you're crawling, with your head chopped off and stuff like that. That's the only time we can test you. But she said, unless you get admitted to the hospital, that's the only when they could go and test you for the virus. She said, well, we don't know if you have it, but we think you do, but we don't know, so we can't test you, and so stay home for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay. This is interesting, and I had a conversation with someone online in Twitter saying, "Oh yeah, everyone has tests." It's like, no, they don't, dude. I just went in for testing. There's no testing out there. No one has tests. Period. And so personally, like I'm a merchandiser for Kraft Foods, and I go in different stores and and set up displays and go sell pallets of toilet paper or like whatever. All stores are getting about half pallets of stuff. So like all groceries, but the supply chain's still coming in. So it's all coming. Don't worry about it. But every store I've been to, it's like literally it's like the apocalypse. So like everyone went down to stores and grabbed everything they could, no matter what it was. Packages of spaghetti, there's like 6 on the shelf at a whole like 12-foot section or something like that. Or toilet paper's completely gone, absolutely gone. Canned foods, canned goods. Pasta sauce, like all that kind of stuff you just quickly cook, gone. And but every day they're getting supplies in, right? And this is just for the panic buyers and hoarders. So they're buying all stuff, but there's still supply chains coming in, so you don't have to worry about it. Stuff's coming in. Just buy enough food for like 2 weeks and you should be fine. But and then my wife just had her surgery, which is a like hysterectomy. So, but long time ago she had something else going on, and so they did a she had a lot of scar tissue like in that area, and so the doctor who did it had some issues of putting the bladder in the wrong place. So all of her insides were kind of in the different places that shouldn't been. So they moved everything in the right place. Yeah, it's screwed up actually. So she's been out of it. So I've been taking care of the house, doing that kind of thing. Still I'm better now than what I was before, but taking care of everything. Actually, yep, took out the stuff, baby making things. So took that out, and she's doing better. She's still in pain though, but dealing with that, and then I'm going back to work this week. So I'll send updates of like how the zombies are at the stores and what they're doing and all that kind of stuff. But in general though, like you don't have to worry about food. You don't have to worry about your stuff. Toilet paper is kind of an issue because everybody's out. Everyone's hoarding toilet paper. I got one package left of 12, so hopefully I'll be able to go ahead and last a type thing for a little bit. But yeah, you don't have to worry about stuff, man. It's coming. Don't worry, it's coming. I mean. And then also like we got the checks coming, I think it is too, like $1,200 a piece or something.
Yes. So if you make under, I believe it was a certain amount of money, you
Like
will
75
get
grand or something.
1,200. Yeah, I think it was like if you are more around like 75K, you get about 600, I think.
Okay.
And then once you reach like a certain point, it gets even less than that. But for most
Yeah.
people who are like middle, the road, kind of like us, we'll be getting that 1,200 for one time.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's gonna help, since I've been out
Yeah.
for a little bit. But in general though, it's like everyone's freaking out. It's kind of scary though because like the news hypes it up so much. You get those clicks, get the clicks that they could go make their money off of it. But overall though, like I've been home dealing with this kind of stuff. I play a lot of GTA, so that's been kind of like being my thing right now. But I really haven't actually, I haven't been productive. I think that's what kind of pisses me off myself. I haven't been productive. I just been like, okay, I guess I got a vacation time right now, but no pay.
Kind of like that.
And
But,
that's basically, yeah, go ahead.
But for us people in the States, though, I did find out, I think it was about like yesterday or two days ago, that if you are a person who's paying off student loans, there's an article I just read about. It was that federal student loan payments will be suspended through September.
Oh, okay, that's good.
So that's
Yeah.
going to help my wife out a lot, actually,
That's
because
really
she still
good.
has student loans. Yeah, so it's going to be very nice.
And plus mortgages and stuff like that, and everything's closed.
Yeah.
Everything's closed. But like every time I go out for like supplies, like I wear a mask and I got gloves and kind of like button up and everything. All these people like walk around the store with 3 inches away from each other. They're talking to each other. They're no mask, no nothing else, and like just I'm listening going, well, this is gonna spread, so this is your fault, type of thing. But I'm keeping my distance. I don't want to deal with this kind of stuff. But it's kind of like it's like that. No one's really paying attention. No one's really actually doing anything, and then they're expecting to be like invulnerable, which is kind of bizarre, But I guess they're young, so they're not really, doing like this. My mom, she's over 60, so I'm like, you don't do anything. Don't freaking do anything. Like she brought some food over, like sometime. It's like you just drop her off the porch and that's it. You leave. Don't touch my doorknob. Don't knock on my door. Don't do anything, just in case, But it's just interesting, and it's kind of sad just what's going on too. But I don't know. That's my own like perspective. Go on, guys. Sorry.
No, that's all right. So like, yeah.
So, Large, how's quarantine going for you?
It's been going pretty good. So I was actually working in quarantine before the quarantine was even a thing. Because I'm on Humira, which is for Crohn's. So Humira is basically a immune suppressant.
Wow.
So basically, I'm like not allowed to like leave the house ever for anything, because whenever there's a cold, I'm bound to get it because Crohn's is basically a thing where mainly your body attacks itself. So the medication brings basically your immune system down. So basically, so it stops that problem from happening. So yeah, so thankfully, where I work at, Chatham, which I've talked in the past, where I work at the help desk, so they allowed me to work from home before they actually closed the school down, because I know the school they had done a thing where they closed it, but if you worked in food service, IT, or facilities, you still had to go in. But I was like, nope, I'm not going in. Forget this. So thankfully, it's been going good. Actually, surprisingly, I've been more busy than ever working from home, which is kind of surprising. Mostly because people can't use their VPN properly. They can't get to a shared drive. Ian's not on his head. He knows all about it. Yeah, where people, so basically I've been off the wall doing phone calls and tickets like constant. And actually, and then on downtime, I am studying to be Apple certified for MacBook repairs now.
Oh.
So they want us to do that because all students at Chatham, they give you a MacBook at Chatham. And the help desk, we allow students to come into the help desk and we have to repair them when they break them. So we've been giving those out since about 2012. And they're like, well, you have time now to study. Go ahead and study for your test you got to do. So thankfully, though, this is kind of random, but Apple changed how they do their testing now. It's actually way easier than what it used to be. Thank God. I'm not going to get into all that BS, but yeah, but beyond that, the quarantine's been good. My wife is currently laid off from her job in retail. So they
Yeah.
closed them all down weeks ago. So we're just dealing with that. Thankfully they've been lenient on some bills here, so we can pay the mortgage later if we have to, kind of thing. Thankfully our local groceries, they have certain hours for people who want to go. If you're older or if you have problems with health, kind of like myself. It was kind of funny actually, where mainly I had gone to our local Aldi in the area, and they opened at 8:30 in the morning for people who are sick or old. So I go, and of course I'm not sick with the with
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah.
But mainly it's kind of funny because it was me and a bunch of like older people, and they're all there outside. We're all like keeping our distance, and they're like, oh, this is great. It's so good they're doing this thing. It's so good to be older because then we get to use this benefit. And I'm like, well, I'm in like my mid-30s. And they're like, well, why are you here? I'm like, well, I'm sick. And I'm like, wait, I'm not Corona sick. I have Crohn's. And they're like, oh, okay. I was like, oh shit, I don't want to like cause a panic at the grocery market,
They should phrase it differently. You want to say the vulnerable or the old rather than the sick and the old, because that's a terrible combination.
Yeah, it was a horrible because like I just came out and I was like, no, I have Crohn's. It's not. I'm on Humira. And so,
It sounds inhumane. Just all right, all the sick and oldies into the van. Come on, let's go.
Yeah. It's all
Grab them
crowded into the
together.
market. Go. Yeah. So, but they have those every Tuesday and Thursday, so I'm still able to go ahead and go to the market at least and get what I need. So.
Damn.
Yeah. Good.
It's like bring out your dead. Bring out your dead.
Oh yeah, I gotta bring out. Like I feel better. Yeah. So surprisingly, because of that, I've actually not been doing like much streaming or YouTube stuff because like after work, I'm just brain dead from staring at a screen for 8 hours at a time.
Yeah.
And I want to stream, but there's been days where I'm just like, I don't want to do it, so I just let it go. But granted, the wife and I, we have been streaming. We're gonna be streaming tonight. Which is that Transformers game. We've been doing that for the past week.
Yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun doing that. So
cool.
Yeah. So Ian, so how are you doing down there in the corner?
Down in the corner.
He's in top left for me.
Oh, for me, it's bottom left.
Yeah.
He's bottom left for me.
Yeah.
I've been healthy for the most part, just some minor sickness, nothing that's even remotely similar to the coronavirus. Well, I work in IT, so working remote is not an issue. In fact, I've noticed working remote has been far more productive for me than I've ever been at work. No interruptions on every minute, no people walking by your office, no one standing behind you staring at your screen because they want something from you. And the best part, I have 2 big monitors, I have a keyboard I like, and I've got a proper microphone to do telephone calls. So yeah, home office has been really good for me work-wise. I think most people I know are working remote, and even those who aren't working right now don't have any financial issues. So I like living in Germany. It's nice.
Cool.
But it's kind of funny that mainly you bring up the issue of people walking in. My God, like people who have companies who don't know what IT do, like that is a huge bug for my office too, where you can't get anything done because you're halfway working on a project or you're doing some coding, and a person walks in and you spend like a half an hour with them, and then you gotta go back and you're like, oh, I forget what the hell I was even doing.
Kind of like
Yeah,
that
like
British show.
Yeah.
Or I forgot, it's like where the guy says like,
oh, the
have you
IT crowd.
yeah, IT, yeah, awesome,
Yeah,
awesome show. I love that show.
yeah, it's a
Hello,
lot
if you try
like
turning off and on again.
I know.
we broke the internet. This is a little box and this little like blinking light on top of Big Ben or whatever.
I know.
But yeah, like working in IT, yeah, Ian, I feel your pain. And working from home is so much better actually, because that's actually the reason why I could not study for my Mech to be Mech certified. Is that at work I would try to study to be Mech certified, and you get a walk-in. And there's just no time, but people in the higher ups are like, they can do whatever all they do is they sit there and stare at their screens. No, we do a lot of shit.
Yeah. What's been really funny working from home? Germany, a lot of companies are very conservative, and they're like, home office, people are just gonna chill on their couch and do nothing. And we've been slowly getting to the point where even those older people higher up in the command chain are realizing, okay, home office can be productive.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that really, really ticks me off so hard, my boss ordered a daily meeting on 8:30 a.m. And here's the thing. I hate getting up early. I'm usually at work at 11 or 10 at earliest, if I can be.
Yeah.
And a couple months ago, I reduced my work hours from like 8.5 hours a day to 6 hours a day because, frankly, I earn enough. I don't need the extra money currently, and I much prefer having free time. But know that I have this meeting at 8:30 every morning, and I still have my regular meetings up till 4 p.m. I'm actually working now more than I have ever been before.
Ooh, that's rough.
And
Damn.
it's been really rough. And the only thing that's keeping me going is the fact that I don't have to dress myself. I don't have to really wash up. I just literally roll out of bed, crawl over to my desk, and start the phone call. And that's my morning every morning.
Hopefully not
Oh
a
my
video call,
God.
just audio only.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just
Okay,
my company
okay.
can't figure out how to video. We're doing
Okay.
we're doing secret remote sessions. We're on Windows Server 2016, and like data security is really finicky in Germany. So you have to manually agree that you want to use Skype even. So instant messages is not something that's guaranteed. Most of the time you're not going to reach the person. You just have to write an email and hope they answer.
Oh
So
man.
we've now all agreed that we want to use Skype, but since we're working on a remote desktop, we can't use our webcams. So video calls are an absolute no-go.
Oh, wow.
And
Yep.
we don't have access to our local microphones because all local devices are disabled on that remote station.
Yeah.
So we can't even do Skype voice calls. We have to use our telephone. And it's really interesting. But
Yeah, just wait until your company gets used to doing more work from home, because on my end it's all through Skype for Business or Zoom. And
yeah.
Zoom is actually pretty sweet.
Yes.
But yeah,
yes.
but yeah,
Even
so
Skype for Business is great, I believe. But
it's really good when it works. We've
yeah.
had some problems on our end.
And the thing is, our company is like, we're not using any software that's cloud-based. We
Mhm.
only use software that's on-premise. So we have a local installation of Skype server.
Hmm.
The thing
Oh,
is,
okay.
they have disabled most of the features that make Skype usable. Something like permanent
Oh.
chat. We don't have permanent chats. You only see what messages you get when you're online. There's no persistence. They're not going to be saved anywhere.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And all that stuff. And it's really,
Can you at least, share your screen?
yes.
Okay,
That's literally the only thing we use Skype for, because that's the only thing that software does.
Huh.
And
One question I would have for the IT people would be various different companies here. Everyone's suddenly working from home, and they're particularly like with game designers. I've heard at least that a lot of people are pinging the server, and so obviously the companies have not had a lot of infrastructure set up prepared for it. Have you guys come across any of those problems?
yes.
Yes, we have.
That's such a funny story. Like about 2 weeks before the general lockdown happened in Germany, there was talk about it happening. Like we all knew it was coming, and our company specifically sent an email saying, "You're not gonna work from home until the government tells you to, because we don't have the infrastructure in place to do this." So it took them literally 2 weeks to order additional gateway servers for our remote station so we could work from home.
Oh
It
my
was
God.
hilarious. It was hilarious. There were daily calls. Everyone went in full panic mode. They spent so much money towards IBM to get those servers. It was crazy.
Damn. So I would say thankfully on my end, because we are a school and we do a lot of online degrees as well, ours was not as nearly as bad. You know, probably the only thing that's really changed is that we had to teach the professors to do, those who do a lot of in-course study who have actual classrooms, and to teach them how to do an online class.
God.
So the biggest part was having to teach these professors who have never used video conference software ever, and to teach them and how to do their classes through that, and then how to set up a meeting with their students, which that was a lot of the majority of the phone calls, was just trying to tell them how to use Zoom, how to use Skype, how to do a share screen, how to do
Damn.
the invites properly. That was most of my phone calls.
Mhm.
Yeah, just that in general.
Yeah, we've had a lot of similar stories. Like my boss is 2 years out from being able to retire, and he just plainly refuses to use Skype screen sharing, and it's so frustrating. You
Yeah.
always have to send him your presentation or whatever you're doing. You have to send him a presentation. You have to send him screenshots, everything, and then like, okay, we're on this page now. We're on this page now, and it's so dumb. Like he's literally in Skype. He's in my presentation. He would just have to open the window and everything would be there, but he refuses, and it's
Just doesn't want to do it.
Stubborn.
sometimes I hate old people.
Thanks.
Not you, Bob. You're cool. You're cool. You're cool, Bob.
Okay.
Mostly.
Well, at last there's a store to send your boss to. Old people and sick, right this way.
Yeah. Ring the bell. So, Blader, so how are things going in your end for you?
I mostly lived in a life of self-quarantine anyway, so it wasn't much of a change.
Now's your time to shine.
Yes, well, I stay indoors the bestest, but yeah, in regards to like at least preparing for quarantine, we did it many weeks in advance. In fact, we kind of over-prepared in the sense that we bought plenty of supplies, and then we were like, okay, well, we're going to try out the different cans and see which ones we like, and then we'll
Yeah.
purchase them later. Um,
Yeah.
Well,
but,
later.
all of those cans have been picked up mostly, but we still found plenty that still are in stock that we liked. So yeah, in the end, we actually were like, yep, the important things was just sort of like we said, food, long lasting food. So for us it was cans and chips. We want hand sanitizer that will
chips?
be gone quickly when there's a rush. Yeah, chips.
Chips
I
as in
live on
fish?
chips and water. That's all you need to know.
No, actually,
Chips
what I'm
say-
curious about, like, is chips as in...
fries.
Oh, fries.
Fries.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Sorry. Like I. Okay.
Yeah, in the UK
go-
we refer
yeah.
to all fries as chips mostly.
Yeah, like
Oh,
like fish and chips.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So
Sorry.
I bought a bunch of fries, bought a bunch of chips, put them in the freezer. I've got plenty still around. Hand sanitizer, of course. Be able to wash my hands. I figured they would be gone very quickly when the people start, panic. And also toilet paper, which worked out very well. So
Nice.
yeah, we didn't have to go and rush to get any suppliers. We live right next to a supermarket. Our plans were that the supermarket is 24 hours, and so we'll just do midnight shopping
Oh,
because
okay.
obviously there's
Yeah.
not many people at midnight. Unfortunately, they've changed it so that it's only open 8 till 8, and people they only allow 20 in at a time. And there's quite a bit of a queue, obviously, because we live, kind of near London, so there's plenty of people who use the store. So we don't really want, since we have supplies, we don't want to really go into the supermarket since you have to stand in a queue, and we didn't bother getting face masks since we don't really, going outside or breathing in much air that other people are, but standing in the queue would be, and it's unnecessary risk. So we were like, okay, well, all of a sudden we feel like looking up the delivery services or click and collect, both of which are sold out for the next 2 weeks, and it's only for 2 weeks they are allowed to
Wow.
purchase. So it was funny actually. we put together a shopping cart last night, and we waited till midnight to bag us get us something in 2 weeks time. just because we're running a little low on cat food. We forgot about the damn cat, or at least,
Oh no.
well, we have some, but we're running low on wet cat food,
Okay.
it's my girlfriend's job to get the cat wet cat food, and if the cat does not get his daily wet cat food, he's going to be very annoying. um,
He's the boss of
so,
the house.
but yeah, no, I mean, I boss him around if he ever makes noises at me. So he's only allowed to annoy my girlfriend.
Oh, okay.
So, but yeah, we prepare. It clicks over to midnight, and then we see all the things are just all the slots are X's because it's Easter Sunday in a fortnight.
Mm.
So we'll have to try again tonight, but
Damn.
we're fine in terms of supplies, but we were sort of we prepared plenty of time ahead. In fact, most of my efforts were spent talking to my parents and trying to get them to prepare properly because both of them are over 70. Both of them have their own health conditions, and I was talking with them way back in, what was it, I think a little bit in like the end of January, February, March. I've been talking to them about it, trying to get them off their butts, get themselves prepared. And thankfully, I think they managed to go in just before the rush of everybody else did. And now they've moved to their country house, which is going to be a lot less people around. So they should
Good.
be relatively safe, and it
Oh,
should be all
nice.
fine. It just does me. It is just a little sad. I'm not going to see my parents because we live practically next door, and every week, me and my girlfriend go over. Well, me and my dad, we go out to the pub and play pool. Well, that's not happening so much anymore, and we go over and have a meal together. Well, we're not going to be doing that for a while, so
Yeah.
it's a shame. Otherwise, in terms of work and stuff, I have plenty of money saved up in the bank. In fact, I work, so to speak, as a landlord. Several properties I own around here. I was actually going to purchase another flat about the time of the outbreak. A couple of weeks ago, actually, I went in to my solicitors. We had only just made contact with them, and I said, "Okay, here's all my identification papers. Here's all the things signed. Here's a check for £255,000." And in the end, it didn't really. We decided to put the purchase on hold since people aren't really looking to move about and rent flats at the moment. And,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I mean,
I spooked the solicitors quite a bit. They just, oh wow, suddenly we're given everything. Oh, that must be important. It's yeah. So in the end, I have plenty of resources to sit on, and I've had plenty of time to prepare. It's just in the UK, at least where I live, near London, it's a fairly populated metropolitan area. There's just so many more people about that are trying to pick up supplies. So for me, at least my nearby shopping market is supermarket. It's a bit inconvenient to get stuff at the moment.
yeah,
Do you
actually,
mind an off-topic question, by the?
Yeah.
How big of an apartment are we talking for £250? 250,000.
Oh,
250
because
pounds.
that was at least yeah, because there were several checks, and I just simplifying it. But it's a two bedroom flat.
Yeah. Yeah. Good area or what?
Like on the one hand, that's insane. So much money. Like that's 300K US
Euros?
dollars roughly.
Oh yeah.
Dude, hold on, wait a second. Okay, 300K
But
in
also it's
California?
London, so
Yeah.
Yeah, it's London is the thing, and the flats they are expensive, but we usually get businessman clientele who come in. Obviously um, they have it night. The place is right by the Thames, so it's a very nice lookout
Okay.
over the Thames. It's right near a lot of transportation links. The
Mhm.
Dartford crossing, I think, the railway, and lots of motorway access. And there's the next door supermarket, so it's a very good spot. Um, yeah, in the end they do pay out. That's why I have the kind of money to burn. But
Yeah.
yeah, obviously I'll just have to hunker down and wait. And hopefully the renting market won't collapse or anything like that. But yeah, it should be fine and have plenty of leeway.
Yeah,
Very
the
good.
300K for in California was like literally like maybe a studio at the most. for 300K,
Yeah.
depending where you're going to, like San Francisco
Yeah.
or San Jose. Maybe a studio, maybe you have roommates as well, type thing, and it just, it's insane. But for 2 bedrooms like you're talking about on the Thames, the Thames,
Thames. Yeah.
Thames. That's the big ass river that's right there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not
It's the one that London is
Yeah.
on.
Okay, yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
I mean that's actually pretty cool. That's really nice, actually. That's cool. Yeah, and speaking about the food situation and all that kind of stuff too, I've basically like throughout the years, I got really good advice from a person for and helped me out throughout the years is spend $5-10 every time you go shopping. Get 5 cans of this, 5 packages of this, or like whatever. Basically, every time you go shopping, spend an extra $5. And so I had food already stored up like crazy, and I just rotate the food. And then also I got enough rice and beans to last me for about 2 years, so I'm good in that one. But it's just I always tell everyone for situations like this, $5 or $10, purchase an extra thing of hand sanitizer, which I have like 6 bottles that I've had for years I haven't used, but now it's like, okay, cool, I got hand sanitizer, I don't have to worry about it, type
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And just different
that,
things.
and also smaller stores.
Oh
if
yeah,
there are-
yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So like small mom and pop stores, like those always have something extra if you're missing out. And then my wife and I think I may have mentioned it maybe last podcast or not, I forget, but also the Asian food market
Yes.
in the area. If you
Yes.
have a couple of those, people aren't really going to those for good or bad reasons or whatever, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to get into it. But basically, those are always fully stocked. Like, I mean, because we were able to find eggs and some pork and everything there. It was fantastic.
Yeah, the for example is like when I went to Walmart to go pick up my wife's meds,
Yeah.
nothing. I mean, everything's like out. Yeah, it's sparse. But then I went to Grocery Outlet, which is kind of like a half off to 75% off store, and they buy like the stuff that doesn't sell at the major like retail chains. They buy
Yeah.
that and they put it there. I'm like, this place is packed with
it's
meats,
great.
food, everything. I was like, wow. It's like, oh my god. It's packed. Yeah, check the Asian markets. Check like everywhere else besides the big places that everyone goes to. Costco and crap like that. You're not going to find a lot of stuff.
I do find it absolutely hilarious what people buy. Like, of course, toilet paper completely gone, everything gone. But if you look at canned food, that was my main example. Like, there's this one brand for my local supermarket chain. It's their own brand that's fairly cheap and affordable, and they make amazing chili con carne, which I absolutely love. I eat it way too often for my own. But it's annoying me because people still buy the cheap stuff. Like
Yeah.
they don't buy healthy food, they buy cheap food. So if you're eating healthy, at least in my surrounding area, you're not gonna have any trouble finding stuff.
Yeah.
But if you're one of those cheapskates, there's nothing there.
Wow.
And it's really fascinating how people, even if everything's empty, the healthy stuff is still there.
You make a good point though, because like a lot of the retail stores, they have like kind of like a 4-foot section of say like British food or Indian food or like whatever. Like they have like separate sections and like maybe 12 feet of Mexican food or something like that. And so like you find that all that's still there, just like you're talking about, all that's still there. The 4 foot of British food, it's like no one knows what it is, but they still have it there. And so like all the stuff's right there. It's like okay. Or the Vegemite, like I know that doesn't, that doesn't sell like any stores I go to, but it's like that's a 4-foot section of like, European food or like Indian food, and that stuff's still there. No one buys it. No one buys it, but it's like, yeah, it's there. Good, eat it.
And have you guys noticed? I think everyone's picked up all the bread and milk, like and eggs.
Yeah,
those
bread's
are
gone.
Completely gone.
Bread's gone.
Yeah. For us, though, it's funny. It's like, oh no, there's no milk. All right, let's just get some buttermilk. There we go.
Yeah, I know.
They just don't know it's in a different aisle.
Or the almond milk or something like that. Basically, and that works out for me. Yeah, so yeah, if there's food out there and supply chain's still coming, you don't have to worry about it. Just normally the supply chain is like 3 days, and so if people freak out and buy a bunch of stuff, it's like 3 days later they're gonna still have the supplies like coming in. And normally when you do go to stores, go early in the morning because they have stockers actually stocking it between 11 to 7, I believe. 11 to 7, 11 to 8, around there, depending what stores you go to and everything. So like it's fully stocked at like when the store opens.
But what I've noticed is don't go when the store opens. Go like 1 or 2 hours later because they're stocking like while the store is opening, they're
Oh,
still
yeah,
stocking
yeah.
for a while.
Yeah.
So don't go immediately because most of the stuff is still going to be in storage.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
you know,
what I've noticed.
yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, there's a lot of boxes like in the way that they try to get them out like in time.
Yeah,
but
lots of boxes.
but yeah.
But I'm the kind of person who really, if there's a pallet with boxes,
Mhm.
I'm never going to touch that.
What is
Yeah.
that?
Because, well, I'm like, okay, the employees, they have their system, they want to organize this. And I
Hold on,
feel
you think this is
terrible.
organized? Wait a second here. You think?
I know what you're saying, but that's still, I'm the kind of person who doesn't really touch
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I'm with you on that too, because like I don't want to interfere in your work, Bob. I'm gonna let you do your thing and just choose what's on the shelf. So
Although I'm not a stalker, like but like I build the
okay.
pallets and build the displays, and then I sell them. But the thing is though, like when I go in, like I talk to them and notice what they do. They basically take the product out, like say in the freezer, they bring the stuff out like in pallets, stage it along to whatever aisle like supposed to be on. Then they go and put them up, and then they have a big ass thing that they throw the boxes into. Then you go and like build the boxes. But if they can't get it done in time, they throw it on the pallet no matter where it's at. Basically it's freezer, boom, they throw everything like on there, and then that's it. Then they put it back in the freezer or like whatever type of aisles they have on. And any backstock, it just staged in the back room that they take out like later on in the day or something like that. But yeah, it's not organized.
Yeah, for the supermarket I'm near, it's open 24 hours, so obviously, at least I've gone around when I usually go at midnight when there's not a lot of people around. There's no queues.
Yeah.
And the thing is, they wheel out these pallets, towers of stuff, and then put it all on the ground, and then put it all up on the shelves. And
Yeah.
I usually don't want to interact with the towers because, of course, I don't know if it's reached its final destination. And you don't necessarily want to set the precedent of people rifling through the towers and leaving it in a right old mess.
Yeah.
They already have enough trouble dealing with the mess people leave stuff on the shelves.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's once they've taken it off the pallet and it's ready to be stocked onto the shelves, it's relatively fine to open the boxes because at least they are just about to go on the store shelves. They are in the place where they're about to go. They're about ready to get to the final destination. They're just one step away.
I mean, yeah, pallet don't screw with it, but when it's on the floor, kind of don't screw with it. Just ask, say, hey, do you have this in stock? And they'll go, okay, yeah, it's right there, and they'll take one out for you. Just don't like grab it, start going through the boxes and tossing stuff out there because they got to do their job. They got to get that stuff done, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's interesting what they do in the back. I can tell you one thing, guys. If you ever go to a supermarket and you go in the back room and it smells, do not buy anything from that store. Trust me, don't buy anything from that store. There's some stores you go, and not the fish smell, not that kind of stuff. Just anything you smell. Generally, again, I won't get into it, but yeah, it's bad juju. Don't buy stuff from that. Bad stuff. Okay, sorry.
Okay, that's right.
Go ahead.
I've got an interesting question that I'm personally curious about. What have you noticed people are buying in insane amounts that you were surprised about? Like, for example, for me, it's been flour and the mixes for bread where all the ingredients are already there. Just have to add water and put it in the oven.
Well, that's probably Germany though. Like a lot
mixes.
of people out here, they don't actually bake. Like make
Yeah,
their
because
bread
that's
stuff.
what really surprised me. Apparently, like I always thought people don't bake bread anymore for the most part.
I
Especially
love baking
since
bread. It's
the
cool.
bread,
Yeah.
the bread in the stores is still there. Like there's no shortage of bread
Wow.
and stuff in my store.
Yeah.
But the mixes and flour and stuff like that has been completely out. And I personally enjoy baking bread a whole lot. I like fresh bread more than most foods. So I was kind of bummed about that. Have you guys noticed anything?
My girlfriend's had that problem because all the baking stuff is gone, and she has she's been in the mood for the last few weeks to have pancakes, and we just can't make pancakes. All the supplies are always gone. So,
Oh, jeez.
we just have to live without baking things at home. I mean, I'm kind of surprised at how people freaked out about the toilet paper. I mean, that's
Yeah.
the most obvious meme on the internet. It's just
TP.
it's the disease does not make you have diarrhea. It doesn't affect the rear end. So why the toilet paper? Even if you run out, just have a dip in the shower and
Yeah.
wash there.
I've done that before. I admit it. I've done that in college before, man. You jump in the shower, wipe, and that's it. I've done that.
Yeah. At least if it's a matter of, oh no, there's coronavirus and I don't want to get sick, I don't want to get my elderly relative sick or whatever, and it's very you don't want to risk things. Why is the last bastion of the defense toilet paper? It's just you could have just showered. At least the shower's always going to be working at least a lot longer than you need to.
Toilet
Yeah.
paper for, yeah.
Or go ahead and install a bidet and be like everyone else in the world.
One thing I'm surprised that is still there is actually baby food. Like I've noticed, like all the stores I've been going to, is baby food's been there. Like I guess a lot of people are actually making their own baby food or something like that. I'm not really sure, but like produce has been going though. Notice there's most stores are getting about half the load of produce that they normally get. But baby food, I've been surprised it hasn't been flying off the shelves like crazy, because that's normally like the first thing you do is protect your children. Basically getting baby food, but I guess everyone's doing their own or something like that.
They're too busy fighting over the toilet paper.
Yeah, too busy fighting over
Yeah,
the toilet
that's
paper.
true.
Yeah.
I would say
I'm-
probably from my end, just from going out the 2 times I have gone out, I really haven't been surprised. It's been pretty much what I expected, where TP's gone, paper towels are gone, all the veggies are gone actually in my area. I was able to surprisingly get red onions. I
wow.
got the
Okay.
last pack of those like a while ago.
I'm just really happy that I stocked up on female hygiene articles, because those have
point.
been gone with the toilet paper in that first rush, and that would have been a mess.
Yes, it would have been a mess for you.
Would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
but
yeah.
ground meat was gone on my end too. Like
Yeah.
like any meat,
Yeah.
all the meat was just gone. Even though surprisingly on last Thursday, whenever I went and almost caused a panic,
Oh, you caused a panic?
well, remember I was like, oh, I'm sick. But
Okay, yeah, okay.
but Aldi was like fully stocked actually, except for TP. But it was like all the meat was back, all the veggies was back, like everything was like stocked. It was amazing.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was
The
very
toilet paper
surreal.
has this cascading effect, because it's been out completely. So the
Yeah.
next time there's toilet paper, be like, oh, maybe I should just grab a wall or two just in case.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna grab some just in case, because
Yeah, so
people are gonna panic
toilet
and
paper
buy
is
it
gonna
again.
take a couple more weeks to stabilize, I think.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
One of my
But
sets I have to
by
go
the
do.
end of that, everyone's gonna have so much toilet paper, they're not gonna buy anymore for the next year.
Yeah.
One of the sets I got to do is actually toilet paper, and one of the things when I go to do the stores, on the planograms for when I set that section, is you have 3 packages, right? Each package is X amount, but I have nothing to actually figure out how big that package is, right? Saying how big it is. And so like I've been having just kind of guess, basically, like, okay, I think it's this size, I remember this size, like Charmin, like 12 is like maybe about like this big depending on what type of packages, and then you got the ones that are short, they're about this big. So it's like, okay, I guess it's the size, and then I get to the end of the thing, I'm like, okay, well I have like that much space to fit this 2 more packages in. Okay, I'll just bring down some stuff. But it's just interesting that toilet paper's gone, and this is throughout the world. Toilet paper's gone. That I can't understand. Basically.
And the best part about this is how this whole scare started, where it was
Media.
literally just a hoax.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I was
That's
like,
the
oh
power of
wait.
the internet for you. Like one guy has a stupid idea, makes a random tweet, and suddenly toilet paper's gone everywhere for weeks.
Yeah.
I
Kind of
think it's
crazy how the
hilarious.
world revolves around Twitter, which is kind of fun, but
Uh-huh.
also really frightening.
That's right.
People-
Yes, it is.
People have always sort of been kooky, and in some ways we haven't actually had many dangerous situations. So it's kind of funny to be reminded about all this. Like I was thinking in the back of my head, like, okay, first was the toilet paper that's weird, but it's also like, at least when I'm reading up on the coronavirus and whatnot, and at least people addressing their own personal anecdotes, a lot of the people are talking about, oh, I was trying this home or that home remedy and whatnot, and it's just like, wait, people still believe that stuff? I always thought that was urban legend.
I'm gonna go get my crystals out. I'm gonna do crystal therapy and everything else.
Essential
Like,
oils, that's the meaning.
yes, oil's another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oils. Yeah.
Like, you gotta
But-
meditate in a forest and hope things go away.
What
Well,
really
you are
scares me.
quarantined there.
What really scares me is what's gonna happen when a real, super duper crisis happens. Like say power outage for a couple months, like a solar flare or whatever. Basically, like I'm just giving examples, zombie apocalypse, whatever. Basically that kind of thing. But what's gonna happen when something super happens, and you want to talk about panic, big time panic? You see this just for toilet paper, people in the aisles beating each other up for toilet paper rolls.
Mhm.
Selling toilet paper, or the guy bought like 17,000 like containers of
Oh, yeah.
of
The
the
hand
thing.
cleaner.
Yeah, and he was
Yeah.
to sell for like $150 each, and then he got caught and can't do it anymore, and had to go and donate all the stuff. What's gonna happen when that kind of stuff happens? Like
Well,
we're talking
Bob,
big.
well, do you remember, what was it like last year? People were in a panic because we couldn't buy lettuce because apparently it was like
Oh yeah,
contaminated.
yeah.
That was like a small one,
Yeah.
and that was like, oh my god, we gotta buy TP because lettuce has gone bad, and we're all gonna get the shits.
Or like
Like,
Chipotle, basically, I think it was like 2 years ago. They had that big scare,
yeah,
but like
was
it
that
was
when
like two stores, right? Two
Chi-Chi's?
stores. What's that?
Was it Chi-Chi's?
No,
Remember that store?
it was Chipotle. I forget.
Oh wait, yeah,
Yeah,
right.
Chipotle,
It was
little burger place, or the
yeah,
or the
the
burrito place, right?
Mexican. Yeah.
And that one had like two stores that had food poisoning, and then their whole company almost shut down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because people freaked out. It's like, yeah, those two stores had it. I'm sorry, but that's like 6 states away, so I'll be okay, if I get some food, type of thing. But what's gonna really happen when something big, I mean, super happens?
Well,
That's what I'm scared about.
my refrain would be just at least this thing is what we're going through right now. This pandemic is already possibly going to be very big,
Oh yeah,
since it's the
yeah.
whole world's economy shutting down for 2, 3 months, maybe even a year, 2 years. Who knows how long this things will carry on like this. The benefit has been, of course, that it was contained to China for quite a while until it actually spread out as a wider population. So we had time to prepare. Obviously, you don't have time to prepare for. Yeah, I was preparing. I've been talking about preparing and been working towards it for quite a few months with this thing.
Not you,
Because
me, us, yeah, but general population didn't actually
oh yeah,
do crap.
Yeah.
and I mean, I would have my own comments like about the response. At least in the future, if there's a disease that's just as infectious as coronavirus and is way more deadly, well, not only will people be more prone to respond to that in the first place, but hopefully we'll be able to learn from it in the future. But I mean, that was a big problem with this whole disease in the first place. People going around talking about, oh, it's just the flu, bro, and that meant people got really kind of lazy. And but no, we've discussed this off air, but as one time before I mentioned that the R0 value of this, the how many people it would spread, when nobody's taking any quarantine actions, it is at least 2. Which is already about double regular flu. And all the data suggested that the R0 value, the how infectious coronavirus is much higher than 2.
Yeah.
Like 2 is quite an underestimate. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. Who knows? Obviously, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it's a very infectious disease on the similar level, kind of Spanish flu. And as I mentioned before, when I was talking with you guys, this thing has a fairly high rate of which people need to go to the hospital, and particularly for older folks needing severe intensive care. And particularly with intensive care, like rebreathers, there's just not that many around before this whole thing. And so our capacity is fairly small, but if everybody gets infected, that's a lot of people who are not going to be able to get intensive care. As looking at the statistics of how the curves are going, we can see obviously like countries that have experience with SARS and MERS in Asia, so Japan, South Korea, even somewhat China, though you always have to be a little skeptical of China. They have gotten a handle on the disease. Like population Japan is like 120 million. It's like half the United States, and they're crammed together on a much smaller space, and they're right next to China. And yeah, they've done a really good job of containing the disease, at least relatively speaking to the West.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The West, we've taken too long to respond. Like roughly speaking, at least it's an exponential curve, and to very roughly speaking, you would say every 3 days the number of cases double, or the number of deaths double that you're risking. So if the West dithers for a week or 2 weeks, that's 32, 64, 124 times or whatever. The number of deaths that you have to deal with. And at least looking at the curves, we've seen Italy has gone out of control, and that was why everybody started buttoning down as they saw how bad things were going in Italy. And I think we can see things though. I think luckily for Ian, I think the Germans are doing relatively well.
Yeah.
If you tell Germans to stay indoors, they will do it. They listen to authority. They are good little boys and girls. And in this kind of situation, that is what you need. In the UK, we've been treating the quarantine order as basically a bank holiday. Lots of there's huge queues in the papers. People making fun of like in Wales, there's a nice place you can walk around on the hills, and the car park got filled up, so they just filled up the whole road with people going to this, just going to the parks. And there's funny clips of like the police going to populate parks and just sort of saying on loudspeakers, everyone keep social distancing, please self-isolate, and everyone's just like, yeah, what's it?
Oh my god.
And there's things with people like, oh, we're not allowed to have we're not allowed to go clubbing anymore, so let's have house parties, and or have a party at a dinner place. And the most of the West has not responded too well, at least in my opinion. We're going to go way over our capacity, and it is now an interesting question of whether you let the disease run rampant and just live through the spike and then try and get back to normal, or whether, like in the West at least, typically people value a lot, particularly America, freedom. You take my freedom from my cold dead hands. But if people use that with that freedom, at least in my personal opinion, comes personal responsibility. And in some ways, at least, this is showing that a lot of the West is not responsible enough, at least on the individual level. And this is a bit of a wake up call.
Yeah, Biter, actually, you're exactly right. Basically, it's a big wake up call. Now, like I don't like big government myself, but I do see some points that hey, this is pretty serious. This is pretty serious. We should actually close all this stuff. But basically, but like when you do that, the only thing I'm afraid of is just, like I said, the economic collapse of America and the economic collapse of the world, because we literally have to stop everything, and people can't just like a lot of people working like paychecks to paychecks. This thing would like just devastate them, and April 1st, which is what, about a week away, that's coming up. That's rent, and there's no one talking about rent. There's only talking about mortgages, but nothing for rent. So like they're sitting there like, $1,200 is nothing in California for rent. That's like that's a studio apartment, maybe, if at the most. And so so that's the thing. And basically, but like for me, it's like, we should close these kind of things, but help out the people who aren't working, because I know like retail is on the front line, the hospital workers on the front line, and a lot of people, doctors and all that kind of stuff. But then the bar owners are losing business, like $20,000 a day, depending on like what they're doing. Like all these businesses are losing so much money, and you can give them loans and everything, but they got to pay back those loans. But they're sitting there going like, we got to make money, for those loans, type of thing. And
a lot of small businesses, mom and pop stores, a cafe is a classic sort of example. They even though you're the owner, you basically only earn like a regular living wage. And a lot of small businesses as well don't necessarily operate a lot of margins, and even bigger ones, like there's a lot of companies that just won't necessarily survive. I think there's a lot of hubbub, at least in the gaming circles, about I think GameStop, and people complaining, oh, GameStop is keeping their doors open. And I was like, I agree that they are risking their employees, but the reason why they're risking it is they know if they close their doors, they're never opening them again.
Exactly. And GameStop's already gone out of business pretty soon. But go ahead. Sorry.
Well, GameStop said that they were essential, to be open because they sold electronics.
What?
It's like, no.
That's what they said?
That was the reasoning, is that they said that they were essential because they were selling electronics and they needed to stay open.
Well, I know like Best Buy, they're open, but only for pickups. So like you have to purchase it online, because my mom got a keyboard. You have to drive over there to the place, and then like, here's my app, and then they scan it, and they get the product and bring it to your car, but you
Yeah.
can't go inside.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
GameStop's a
And
joke though.
GameStop was harboring the delusion of that. Oh, we'll just keep doors open like usual. People come in, touch the boxes, and go,
Yeah.
"Oh," and then put them down and stuff. And
yeah,
yeah,
well,
we'll just use soap, and it'll be fine.
Who buys
Well, I'm
games from
pretty
GameStop though? I mean, everything's online now.
people
literally.
go there because I mean, okay, for example, this past week was what, Animal Crossing and Doom.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Those were massive releases, and I'm pretty sure they had a bunch of pre-orders. And I did not want to lose out on.
That's probably it. Yeah, that's probably it. Yeah, true.
Yeah, they've diversified a lot of these game stores that they sell merch and stuff now, or amiibos and things like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they aren't doing so well. But yeah, companies like that are, if they close their doors, they'll close it forever. But
Yeah.
that's not to say all companies are like that. But yeah, as you're touching on, at least Bob, yeah, it's the economic impact, and I'm glad at least the Western governments have worked fairly quickly on that. The United States has finally got that stimulus package through, because
Yeah.
what we've seen from other depressions is you need a huge infusion of cash to make sure there's enough money flowing around. There's enough liquidity in the system. And obviously the problem with the current situation and with other depressions is a lot of liquidity suddenly removed from the market, and that just causes everything to shudder and stop. And what sort of I don't know if it's a good analogy, but it's like I'm imagining like the economy is an engine. It's like V6 engine or V8, let's just say, and it starts shuddering. There's not enough fuel, and so what you do is you remove two of the. It goes from a V8 to a V6, so there's 6 pistons rather than 8. So when you start again, it's not as powerful an engine. So what the government is doing is putting a whole bunch of extra fuel into the mixture during the difficult times, so that it can keep running as a V8, that when situations return to normal, the economy isn't so badly damaged compared to you don't have to climb out of a hole like you used to.
Well, the problem
again,
is
just
I was going to say the problem is though it's going to get worse before it gets better. Period. End of story. Because you're looking at unemployment. It's going to be crazy coming soon. I mean,
well, I know here in Pennsylvania, the actual website to file for unemployment crashed a few days ago.
yeah.
I think it's back up now. And then I know we're getting like the 1,200 and all that. Like I hope it lasts for as long as it can, even though we're gonna get it. It's like a one-time thing. But I mean, if we're all in lockdown for more than 1 month, I mean, it's gonna be rough for a lot of people, I think. So, but
okay.
yeah.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's a very difficult economic question, and in my mind at least, it's also America is sitting on how many trillions of debt, and now you just dug yourself into you just added a couple more trillion.
Yeah,
Yeah, and then even before they passed the the bill and everything, they're just pushing money into the market, because every time it would dip, they would shove more money to as a solution. It'd be good for like legit a minute, and they'd just dip again.
Yeah.
So we kept shoving money about 2 or 3 times until we finally got to that. But anyway, I think Ian was saying, what kind of lessons should we learn going forward? I would say 1, listen to scientists. Science. Maybe.
Now, I have a few
Science.
finger wags about the scientists. At least,
finger wags.
first off, the CDC officials who are saying that this was originated by, as a weapon used by the United States.
That was dumb.
Dum-dums.
No.
That was dumb.
The World Health Organization, whilst they are correct to say that China is, doing a very relatively effective quarantine, like, they as an authoritarian government.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
The best measures.
Their numbers are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is believable, their numbers, though, is the thing, because there's it's quite interesting actually looking at how different. It's interesting to see what I've mostly only heard about China, but I'm wanting to look into South Korea and Japan and stuff. But the World Health Organization is saying, oh yeah, China's doing a brilliant quarantine measure, so don't worry, everyone, just keep traveling in and out of China. I was like, no. I know you love China. I know you have a Xi Jinping body pillow, but this
waifu pillow, yeah.
the thing is, how many cases? It's 10. It's a fair number of cases in total in China, and they did clamp down on it eventually. But
Yeah.
the simple fact was that that we should have shut down all travel, particularly airplane travel to China, and we didn't do that.
Yeah.
If you look at where all the epicenters are for the disease, it's right by freaking airports, places that are connected to China. Because oddly enough, the disease isn't. How does the if you're living, let's just say for the sake of the argument, you're living on the International Space Station. When will the disease get to you? Oh, the disease just teleports it to me. No, it'll arrive on the next shipment to you. So how, or just if you're living you're living at Taiwan, there's no cases. How does it get to you? Well, obviously on a ferry or by a plane.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they have an airport. I think they probably do.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but it will, and that's the same in the West. How does it so quickly suddenly appear in Italy, in the United States, in in Africa, etc., etc.? It got there by plane, and even though we're all in quarantine or whatnot, lots of countries are still having lots of people moving in between across the borders.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you suppressed the disease, most of the cases have finally died out. That doesn't mean everyone is immune. All it means is that the disease, the fire inside your house you put out the fire, but there's still plenty of wood ready to burn. And if you
great
then just if you have a whole bunch of people from wherever is at that time, having a problem with the coronavirus, the fire will just start right up again. And all you need, and then suddenly you'd have to do the whole quarantine again. So the only full long-term response is for everybody to super quarantine and to not let anybody cross the borders. And we could, put out the fires everywhere. But is that really feasible? Is that?
It's not. It's not
Yeah.
feasible per se because, like I told, like I was saying, everyone lives a lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. So you put one big thing in there, you're dooming a lot of people because of that. And then the panic buying, the panic this, and like all that kind of stuff. Now, like my final thoughts is exactly what you're saying. You got to lock down the border. Period. In story. When something like this starts spreading, and if you don't take care of it, it's gonna just explode. It's gonna burn the firewood that you have inside your house, like you were saying. And if you don't take care of it, oh yeah, yeah. So you have to do that. And like what I learned is from this is social distancing. Obviously, basically try to take better care of yourself. Obviously because I have to.
Yeah.
But the whole thing also too is like I'm a semi-prepper, so like I buy extra food, I buy extra stuff. Like I got my firearms, my ammo, and my food, and all that kind of stuff. So buy extra things throughout the time, like ahead of time, okay? Because right now there's a line trying to get firearms in California, yeah, but you can't. It's a 14-day waiting period, just like the stuff. Oh, shut up, Pete. Shut up, Ian.
The one thing you complain about, firearms?
Yes, I do. Okay,
You're
so
just gonna shoot the virus.
yes, I'm gonna shoot the virus. It's gonna be awesome.
Gosh.
It's gonna be coming up. We have a different perspective on that, but hey,
Americans.
I'm not gonna shoot the virus, you dim. But the whole thing is this. So prepare ahead of time, food wise. Just whatever you can. Buy extra food, buy extra stuff like that, and you'll be fine. Like I'd have to do a food rush to the store. I didn't have to do that. I got I need some butter, so I'll go to the store and get some butter. Not I gotta get butter, milk, this. I gotta buy everything on the shelf. It wasn't like that. It was just I needed some butter and some milk. Okay, went in and got that. Everyone else has shopping carts filled to the rim full of stuff, and prepare ahead. And then obviously do the borders, that kind of thing, like for the for states and everything. Be prepared is what the motto is, I guess, Boy Scout type thing.
Scout motto, yeah.
Yeah, Scout motto.
Okay,
Go ahead.
can I just say real quick, one of the things that we should have known years ago as children, we finally learned how to wash our hands properly.
Yes. Yeah.
I've heard about that. You
I
guys
mean,
are disgusting.
no, but the thing is though, but I've been doing it ever since because that's what you do. You should
Yeah.
wash your hands
Yeah.
properly. But it's like we had to put PSAs with songs with it to keep ourselves to remember how to wash our hands properly. Guys, it's not hard. Lastly, also
Did
on
you
my
guys
end
get
too.
taught that at school? Did you get
Oh yeah, a
taught it?
long time ago.
Yes,
Yeah.
all the time.
I
Yeah.
never
People
got
just-
that taught that at school, but my girlfriend in Lithuania got taught it. I mean, I had friends who were in medical professions, so I picked it up from them. But
Yeah,
no, we never learned how to properly wash our hands.
gross.
We
But
even
yeah,
have
but
posters everywhere at school and kindergarten.
yeah, how to wash your hands properly. But
This is
but
how you
yeah,
wash your hands. You do
but-
this, then you do
yeah, you
this,
do the
then you
middle and then you do your
this.
thumbs and all that. Yeah, but also too is I also worked in a hospital for about 2 years ago, so that was also a whole thing too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but there's that, and then also if you guys are like me, do your garden, grow your
Yes.
groceries,
Yeah.
grow them.
Yeah.
Saves you
Yeah.
money.
Yeah. If you
Grow
have
your
the
groceries,
option,
dude.
absolutely.
Very
If you
easy
got,
to do.
I mean, if you got a yard, if you don't got a yard, go get a bucket, put in some dirt, put in some seeds, make your produce.
Yep.
That's what I do. So those are the two things that are going for me right now: is wash your hands and do a garden, and stay inside. Don't go out. Quarantine
Yeah.
yourself.
Yeah, true.
For me, I'm really hoping people are slowly getting the hint. Like the German government has always said, keep supplies for 10 days, just in case something happens. And realistically, 10 days is not that much, especially if you buy stuff like flour to make bread, if you buy rice and noodle stuff like that. Those things last forever. So it's kind of really easy to stock up for 10 days. And I'm hoping
Yeah.
people kind of realize that they maybe should do this. And so hopefully, if something like this happens again, the panic buying is slightly less. Who knows? Also, I'm really hoping that German companies get the hint that remote working is good and productive, and it's not just people being lazy. So who knows? Maybe my company will slightly be less restrictive about home office because I really like home office. I
Be
want to
careful with what you wish for, because then they'll learn you can work at every hour of the day like we do in the States.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not concerned about that. We have way too many worker protection laws for that.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
No,
not here.
Germany-
Great. Germany's great.
Damn
The
you,
only
Germany.
little refrain, Ian, I would have on that, trying to play devil's advocate, would be, I think for IT tech people, they are going to be more interested. Obviously, if you get into that job, you're hopefully have a lot of interest in coding or technology and stuff. There's going to be a lot of self-motivation. I think a lot of I would have more concern with the paper pushers, the bureaucrats, those who do the core work, but they aren't necessarily always the most qualified or self-motivated.
Yeah.
And with them, they will sometimes just do the bare minimum. I remember an anecdote my dad gave from when he started working. He went to some place and he said the guy they said okay, talk to Jeremy. Jeremy will show you everything he does. And Jeremy's like, okay, I take this stuff, I put it in the scanner, I print it out, I hand it out to these people. And then he sat down and then just stared. And then my dad's just like, okay, what else do you do? And then somebody else called from across the room, that's all he does, he's run out of things to do. And so those people, yeah, if you give them, if they work from home, their productivity might drop just drastically. And it also depends a lot on how much you need to physically see products or see each other to get things done.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
True,
I was
true.
mostly referring to my own field in that regard.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, with remote working, you need ways to monitor productivities, you need deadlines, you need communication tools, all of that. And I'm hoping that now that many companies are forced to learn all those skills, maybe they're going to start applying them in the future.
It
And
will
one
certainly
last thing-
be, yeah, it will certainly be interesting because we'll put it to the test and see, how much productivity changes. And yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
And one last thing that I've personally learned is how much groceries I need for 1 week, because I've never bought that many groceries in one go.
Ah.
Usually I just stock for 2 or 3 days.
Yeah.
Because it's right next door. Why would I buy more than I need?
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah.
always get fresh stuff. And now I'm like, okay, I need this many main meals, I need this much milk for breakfast, and it's interesting. It's,
Yeah, it's something I
certainly a
never did
learning
myself until
experience.
now. So yeah, true.
Our fridge freezer was almost always empty, and then we've been stocking up, and we're just like, wow, it's full of things. This feels weird.
It's weird.
Okay.
To go on follow through from what Ian was talking about, having 10 days worth of stock and supplies. And a really good analogy I've heard is just sort of, in my storage closet, I've got a box full of cold medicines and bandages, and I haven't used them in years.
Hmm.
So why should I bother buying them? Because you never know when you'll need them. And that's just the same with having some cans of food and whatnot on hand and other,
Yeah.
supplies. You never know when, as Bob alluded to, like an asteroid hits or some calamity, something comes out of the blue. And being just that little bit prepared can go a long way, particularly if
Mhm.
you just other
Peace of
things is
mind.
like on your phone, get a survival manual up or something. You don't need to read it necessarily, though it might help. Just have the resources on hand
Yeah.
means it's the first most important step.
Yeah.
If you suddenly cut yourself whilst cooking, and suddenly you want to apply a bandage to it, it really helps if there's a bandage nearby and you know how to apply it.
Exactly. You don't have to be
Yeah.
crazy. You don't have to be like crazy prepper guy like you watch on Doomsday Preppers or like whatever, basically. But you just have to just have something put away. It doesn't matter like what it
Yeah.
is.
Granted, I would love to have my personal bunker.
Oh,
I would
go-
love to.
Oh yeah.
Me too, man.
I-
Oh God.
I've been watching videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
and there's one guy I follow. It's look, mom, no computer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and this guy just moved into his flat, I believe, with his girlfriend, and he has this tiny bunker basement room. I'm like, oh, it's so great.
It's
Yeah.
dumb. I would never use it, but I would love to have one.
Oh, it'd be so great.
Be like a
But
perfect
anyway,
man cave.
guys,
But yeah, okay. Let's
yeah.
wrap it up here.
I've got a lot to say, so just quickly.
Okay.
On top of that would be, it's always good to have plenty a cushion of money to always sit on top
Yeah,
of. If suddenly
yeah.
your job disappears, you never know. You don't suddenly want to be out on the streets, and at least I can't blame everyone for their life circumstances, of course, but if you can, that should always be the thing to work towards, rather than going out to have a good time at the clubs or pubs
Yeah.
necessarily. At least that's been my
3
mindset.
months.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As far as this pandemic goes, we'll have to wait and see how society and our governments respond to it. It could very well be that we have a lot of deaths on our hands in the West, but then things get back to normal in a few months' time. Or we might have quarantine time where we kind of it loosens up a bit, then quarantine time where it loosens up again a bit for a whole year. So to deal with this, because this is a novel coronavirus, we don't have
Never
any
had it.
natural immunity to
Yeah.
it. And even if somebody has the disease, it doesn't mean their body has found exactly the right antibodies to defeat it,
There's no
which means
vaccine
they
yet.
can get reinfected. So even if you have it once, it doesn't mean you can't get infected again. And the crucial thing is at least that yeah, it's as the thing goes, we are all part of a society, and so someone down the line, like the Larshes within our groups or whatnot, have issues with their immune systems or with respiratory disease or what have you, or they're old. They will need that medical care. They will need the respirators, and if you have to get on top of these things as quick as possible. As soon as there's a couple hundred cases, button down the hatches, because you only find out how bad things have gone 2 weeks later. And even then, those stats are only the worst cases. A lot of the things you don't even know. And this disease, it can change. It's a virus. It will mutate. It can get a lot more deadly in the future. It could also become benign. We don't know. We're just going to roll the dice. and,
Exactly.
and yeah, it's as for disease control, I think Western governments were very happy talking about social distancing and hand washing, but they have not been talking about face masks. Face masks, if you look at media of people in Asia walking around, even when there isn't a big pandemic going on, lots of people are actually wearing face masks because they
Yeah.
had to deal with these things in the past. Even if just 25% of the populace wear face masks properly, of course, they you will significantly curb the spread of the virus, even more so than hand washing.
Well, that's
Because
if you could get them, though, to tell you the truth, because there's a big shortage of
Yeah.
face masks and gloves and all that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
about 6 years ago, I bought like I think like 10 boxes of the gloves of the stuff, and I use them all the time now. And
Yeah.
6 years ago, and it's like, oh, let's open up the 6 boxes of the gloves I have. Okay, cool. Now I can use them for whatever I want to go have. So yeah, it's just a matter of just finding the stuff too.
All right, so everyone, this has been the First Circuit Podcast, episode 117, with Bob
Hey, bye.
and Biter
Larg.
and Ian.
Bye and stay safe.
Yes, and myself, Larsh, as well. Stay safe out there, keep quarantined, and be smart. And of course, if you want to see more of these types of podcasts, let us know down below in the comments, and make sure to check us out on all of our social medias, also in the video description below. Anyway, guys, see you next time.